It was supposed to be an ordinary flight. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a Boeing 777, was scheduled to depart from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, on March 8, 2014, its destination, Beijing, China. On board were 227 passengers from 14 different countries and 12 crew members. Families were starting their vacations, businessmen were heading to meetings, and life was moving at its usual pace. Then the unthinkable happened. At 1:19 a.m. local time, just 38 minutes after takeoff, the plane's communication with air traffic control ceased. The transponder, which broadcast the plane's location, went silent. Radar systems continued to track the plane for a short time, showing it veering sharply off course, but then it vanished from radar screens as well. MH370 had disappeared into the night, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a world in stunned disbelief. The disappearance of MH370 quickly became one of the most perplexing mysteries in aviation history. How could a modern aircraft, equipped with sophisticated technology, simply vanish without a trace? The world watched and waited, hoping for answers, but as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the mystery only deepened. The search for MH370 had begun, an endeavour that would span continents, cost millions of dollars, and test the limits of human ingenuity. But behind the technological challenges and vast search areas lay a profound human tragedy, hundreds of lives lost, families left in agonizing limbo, and a global community united in grief and bewilderment. To understand the depths of the MH370 mystery, we need to rewind to the hours and minutes leading up to its disappearance. At 12:41 a.m. local time, the Boeing 777 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, its lights gleaming against the dark Malaysian sky. The first leg of the journey seemed uneventful. Then, at 1:07 a.m., the plane sent its last ACARS message, an automated data transmission system. At 1:19 a.m., the now infamous last words from the cockpit were heard by Malaysian Air Traffic Control, "Good night, Malaysian 370. This communication, seemingly routine, would soon become a haunting echo in the silence that followed. Just 2 minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the plane's transponder, which transmits its identity and altitude to radar systems, was switched off. MH370 had effectively gone dark. Military radar continued to track the aircraft as it deviated significantly from its planned flight path, turning west and flying back over the Malay Peninsula. It then turned south, flying over the Strait of Malacca and out towards the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. Finally, at 8:11 a.m., the plane sent its last satellite handshake, a faint electronic signal that provided a clue to its general direction, but not its exact location. After that, silence. MH370 had vanished. The news of MH370's disappearance sent shockwaves around the world. Governments, aviation experts, and the general public were united in their disbelief and concern. A massive international search effort was launched, involving dozens of countries and costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Ships and aircraft scoured the South China Sea, where the plane was initially thought to have crashed based on its last known position. However, the search area soon shifted dramatically. The analysis of military radar data and those faint satellite handshakes suggested that MH370 had flown for several hours after its last communication with air traffic control, taking it thousands of miles off course, likely into the remote and unforgiving southern Indian Ocean. The search zone now encompassed a vast and desolate stretch of ocean, thousands of miles from land. The challenges were immense. The ocean floor in this region was largely unmapped, with depths exceeding several thousand meters in some areas. The currents were strong and unpredictable, potentially carrying debris far from the crash site. Despite these hurdles, the search continued for years. Sophisticated sonar equipment was deployed to scan the ocean floor, hoping to detect the wreckage. Autonomous underwater vehicles were used to explore areas inaccessible to traditional submarines, yet the elusive plane remained lost, its whereabouts a haunting question mark. While the initial search in the southern Indian Ocean proved fruitless, A glimmer of hope emerged almost a year after MH370's disappearance. In July 2015, a piece of debris washed ashore on the island of Réunion, off the coast of Madagascar. It was a flaperon, a part of the wing that helps control the plane's roll and lift. The flaperon was analysed by experts and the results were conclusive. It belonged to MH370. This discovery provided the first tangible evidence that the plane had indeed crashed in the Indian Ocean, confirming the data analysis that had guided the search efforts. Over the next few years, more pieces of debris, including parts of the wing, tail, and interior cabin, were found on islands in the Indian Ocean and along the coast of Africa. Each piece was meticulously examined, providing investigators with clues about the plane's final moments. The analysis of the debris, particularly the condition of the flaperon, suggested that the plane had not undergone a controlled descent. The lack of extensive damage indicated that it had likely impacted the water at a high speed, possibly in a near-vertical dive. While the debris provided some answers, it also raised more questions. The discovery of debris across such a vast area highlighted the difficulties faced by search teams and the unforgiving nature of the ocean environment. After years of investigation, analysis of scant data, and the heartbreaking task of piecing together fragments of evidence, the official investigation into the disappearance of MH370 concluded in July 2018. The 495-page report, compiled by the Malaysian government, provided a detailed account of the flight, the search efforts, and the available evidence. However, it failed to offer a definitive answer to the question that had haunted the world for over 4 years. What happened to MH370? The report concluded that the plane's course change was likely due to deliberate action by someone in the cockpit, but it stopped short of declaring it a case of pilot suicide. The investigators could not rule out mechanical failure as a contributing factor, but no evidence of any malfunctions was found in the data or debris. The report acknowledged the limitations of the investigation, stating that without the discovery of the plane's wreckage and the flight data recorders, the exact cause of the tragedy would likely remain a mystery. The report, while comprehensive, left many feeling frustrated and dissatisfied. Families of the victims criticized the lack of closure, while aviation experts debated the significance of the findings. The official investigation, despite its best efforts, had failed to provide the answers that the world desperately sought. MH370 remained an enigma, a chilling reminder of the unpredictable nature of fate and the limitations of human understanding.